and welcome to the North American Men's Beach Volleyball Olympic Qualifiers. Here are the highlights from USA versus Canada.
Hi guys, Lambert here. Hopefully you didn't get too disturbed by that video. If you haven't figured it out yet, this video is all about gender. Okay, the focus for this video is to compare and contrast gender versus sexuality, gender equality in the workplace, in sports, in different countries, etc. And also some of the terminology that we use as well. So, a little video recap. Why are there requirements for uniforms for all different athletes? Okay, that's a question that a lot of people ask. We just saw volleyball. We saw men playing in female volleyball attire, and there are rules, very strict rules about what girls can and cannot wear when they're playing beach volleyball. And right there is a prime example of something that they're expected to wear. So should they be the same for men and for women? It's a little bit of food for thought. What are some common events or sports where they're different, and what reasons are there? And what do you think women? Why do you think women are made to wear this? What message is it sending to women's volleyball? So just chuck down your answers and your thoughts in the Google form. Right, gender. This is a socially constructed system of classification that ascribes qualities of masculinity and femininity to people. And it's one sense of self, masculine or feminine, regardless of external genitalia, and it refers to the way that we perceive certain things to be either masculine or to be feminine. Okay, so certain colours, for example, blue is seen as being a masculine colour, whereas pink is seen as being a feminine colour. Sex, on the other hand, refers to a person based on their anatomy, and the division of male or female based on reproductive organs and functions, and the classification of people as male or female, which is typically assigned at birth, and again based on anatomy. So sometimes people are discriminated against because of their gender or because of their sex. So just quickly, discrimination is a noun. It's an unjust or prejudicial treatment of different categories of people or things. Okay, so the recognition and understanding of the difference between one thing and another. So it doesn't have to be gender. It could be anything. It could be race, could be ethnicity, could be culture, etc., etc. So if we were to have a look at a few examples in sport where people are discriminated against because of their gender or because of their sex, we have Caster Semenya here, who was actually born as a hermaphrodite, and her parents decided that they wanted to bring her up as a female because her female parts were the ones that were visible. She did have testicles inside her body, and those testicles produce testosterone, and they still do, and that is some of the reason why she does look a little bit mannish, if you like, and she's very strong, and she competes at a very high level on the world stage in athletics. Now, Caster Semenya has been discriminated against on multiple occasions by both males and females. She's been told she can't run against females, she's been told she can't run against men, so where exactly does she fit in? Another example is at Wimbledon, in all tennis really, where males and females are paid the exact same amount of money And you might ask, well, why is this discrimination based upon gender? And it has been brought up by a few male players that in fact they're actually being discriminated against in these tournaments because the males have to play 5 sets before they can find a winner, whereas the females have to play 3. So yeah, it's almost an example of reverse gender bias or discrimination, where they feel as though they're getting paid less money per hour, or for the amount of work that they're doing, they're getting paid less money. And lastly, quite a relevant and quite a recent image here of our Black Ferns, a New Zealand World Cup winning rugby union team, and the fact that they are non-paid players. They all have secondary jobs when they come home, and they all have to train in their own time, and they get nothing as far as finances go from the New Zealand Rugby Union. So there's quite a big argument coming through that in fact they are World Cup winners. They should be on contract. They should be getting as much money, or at least some money, just like our top male rugby players. Now, stereotypes are a widely held, but they're a very oversimplified image or idea of one thing or of a person or a group of people. They're also a perceived notion, especially about a group of people. A lot of stereotypes are very racist, even if they don't mean to be, very sexist or very homophobic as well. They're used to categorise a group of people, and people don't always understand different types of people, so they tend to put them into a bunch as opposed to treating everybody as individuals. So stereotypes can be very damaging, but a lot of people use stereotypes in good ways and things like research. If you're trying to figure out the best way to do a certain thing for a certain group of people, quite often it's easier to group them and to give them something based upon that grouping. I guess you're making assumptions though because of that. Therefore, you can't cater for every single person because everyone is different. Alright, so what you guys need to do is to quickly jump online and to find a meme that is gender stereotype based. Okay, so again, this is where a lot of people are discriminated against. Memes tend to try to make things like this funny. They're not hugely funny when you think about individuals who are being affected by it. So see if you can just quickly jump on and see if you can find a really good stereotype based gender meme and show it to your neighbour. Do that now. Alright, hopefully you found a good meme and hopefully that brought some discussion between you and your neighbour. Now we're going to do a little bit of a sports study. So we're going to research either a sport or a sporting event, and we're going to look at the opportunities for both men and women within that sport. Okay, so the things that I want you to look for, I want you to include the numbers that play, payment, as a professional, do men get paid, do females get paid, and how much money is that? Is the media or community involvement the same? Does it get as much publicity from Sky Sports, from TVNZ, etc., from social media as well? Decide what, if any, discrimination is made against one particular gender, and then I want you to create an argument with clear evidence to back up your judgment as well. So an example might be if you're looking, like we said, at the Black Ferns, okay, them going away to the World Cup, okay, so you're going to go through, find out how many people are playing rugby, males compared to females, are people being paid and how much that is, are they getting as much coverage, males versus females, etc., etc. So, pick one, something you're passionate about, something maybe you want to find out about. Okay, go through and tick off these things one by one. Your teacher will be coming around and we'll be giving you some help if you require it. If you have any questions, chuck your hand up and answer them to the best of your ability. Cheers.